Hi guys, so this is the pretty much the last lesson of this unit, but this is for now a review. The new lesson is actually after this. So brief review on the substituting of value into your expression. We reviewed this in the beginning of the school year when we just started, but I will still do the review again, okay? Because it's that important. Now, if you take a look at substituting a value review, all you need to remember is that whenever you're substituting a value for a variable, make sure you put brackets around that value, okay? Even though it is positive or negative, it will help you out, okay? Now, then let's take a look at the example. So I say evaluate each. So you're evaluating each expression with the given value to you. So in this case, you have x equals 2. Therefore, you are plugging 2 into the 2x's. Okay, I'm not actually going to put the... Sorry, guys. I'm not going to put the arrow. So it may... Oh, I cannot erase this. Oh, this is weird. Okay, so anyway... So you're plugging in the 2 into the x's. So this becomes 5, 2 squared minus 9 times 2. Now then this becomes, obviously using your calculator, it is a 20 since it is 4 as a 2 squared times 5 and then minus 18, and that becomes 2. Okay, now let's do a bit more example. So I'm gonna zoom in a little more. So if you look at the B, here we have 5xy plus 2y cubed, y equals 3 and x equals 2. So basically you're substituting 3 into the y and 2 into the x, and all you need to do is just put the brackets around the number, and that's pretty much it. So this equals 5, and the x is 2, so 2 in the brackets, and then y is 3, so 3 in the brackets, plus 2, 3 cubed. Now, then it is 5 times 2, okay? 5 times 2, that's 10. 10 times 3, that becomes 30. Now, you can get this easily using your calculator, but hopefully you can do this without it. And then the next one is 2 times 3 cubed. Now, remember the bed mess. We have to do the cube first. Okay, we have to do the cube first. So 3 cubed is 27, and then 27 times 2 becomes 54. So then at the end, 30 plus 54 becomes 84. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure you can do this on your own, but let's do it on all together. So in this case, we have x equals 2. So everything with the x will be replaced by 2. So then this becomes 4, well that's equals 2 squared plus 2 times 2 minus 9 minus 5, and then 2 squared plus 3, 2, and then minus 4. Now remember, I am basically replacing 2 with the x's. Okay, I'm basically replacing 2 with the x's, or x. So make sure you put the brackets around the number that you're putting in. Now, then this becomes 4. Now, 2 squared is 4. Then plus 2 times 2 gives you 4. Minus 9. Then minus 5 times 4, since 2 squared is 4 again. Now plus 6, because 3 times 2, and then minus 4. Now, just in case you don't remember this, if you have numbers right beside each other, well, separated by the bracket, that means you're multiplying these two numbers, okay? So then this becomes 16 plus 4 minus 9, now minus 20, okay, that is negative 5 times 4, plus 6, and then minus 4. Using your calculator, you're going to get, well, a number that equals negative 7, I believe, okay? So that's how you substitute the values. Now then the next one is is a bit of mixture of what we have learned so far, including this. So simplify by collecting like terms. So you have to collect the like terms, meaning the same variable with the same power, and we add the coefficients, okay, or subtract. So in this case we have x cubed, so I'll underline with the black, and therefore we have to combine 4 and negative 3 as a additional subtraction. So we have 4 minus 3, and that becomes 1. So it will be just x cubed. We don't usually write 1 as a coefficient, so remember that, okay? So we've used that term, so I'll just cross it so that I won't forget. Now next one I'll use the red. Now next one is the x term. Now x term is right there again. So we have positive 2 minus 9, that becomes minus 7x. So we used it, I'm going to cross it. And then lastly, it's a constant. There's no x's with these two. So negative 5 plus 4 equals negative 1. Now make sure your expression is ordered in the right way, that it starts with the greatest power and it ends with the lowest power. In this case, there's no x. Highest power is 3, 1 is middle, and then there's no x, so we are okay. Now, then identify the type of expression among mono, bi, tri, or polynomial. Now, again, remember, when you are identifying what type it is, you have to collect the like terms first. So after, this is the result of collecting the like terms. So we have 1, 2, 3 terms, so it's called trinomial. Okay. And then identify the degree. Remember, the degree is always just highest degree. Okay, identify the degree means identify the degree of the expression. So look for the highest degree. In this case, the highest degree is 3. So we say degree of 3. Now, last one, it says evaluate if x equals negative 1. So this is where you substitute the value. So then we have, I'm just going to copy the equation again. X cubed minus 7x minus 1. So we're substituting negative 1, x equals negative 1, into the x's. So this becomes negative 1, brackets around, don't forget, cubed minus 7, negative 1 bracket, and then minus 1. Now this becomes negative 1, so negative cubed becomes negative 1, and then we have negative 7 times negative 1, so that gives me positive 7, and then minus 1 again. So this gives me 5 as the final answer. Okay, so hopefully that reviewed your collecting like terms, identification, the degree, how to identify the degree, and substitution part. Okay, now the real lesson actually is the next. So the next slide is about the adding and subtracting polynomials. Now this is pretty much the same as what we have been doing. Okay, this is pretty much the same as what we have been doing. The only difference is that you will have a bit more terms. Okay, so we know how to collect the like terms. The variable must be the same and its power must be the same. Then we can compute the coefficients of the like terms. If you have a negative or negative number in front of the brackets, that changes the sign of the terms inside of the brackets as well. So we're basically combining those two ideas. Okay, so as I said up here, make sure to identify the like terms and collect. Okay, that's what your goal is for the adding and subtracting polynomials. And when you're doing so, please cross them, as I said before, because you will deal with a lot of things. So it is better for you to cross as you collect the like terms, okay, so that you won't get confused later on. Now, an important reminder again is that the negative sign in front of the brackets will change the signs of the terms, okay, inside of the brackets as you expand / remove the brackets. Now, I explained why before, but here's another review of that. So I'm going to zoom in a little so that I can write it better. So I have negative 5x minus 2y plus 10. Now again, remember the negative sign in the front with no number means it is negative 1, okay? So this becomes negative 1, 5x minus 2y plus 10. Now remember the distributive law. If you have a number in the front like this, and when you're expanding or removing the brackets, we are multiplying it to every single thing inside, correct? So that's what we're going to do, and this becomes negative 5x. That's because negative 1 times 5 equals negative 5, and then x simply was with 5 already, so it follows along. The next one is going to be plus 2y, and then minus 10. Now hopefully you are familiar with this by doing a lot of homework questions. So if you take a look, before inside of the brackets it has positive, negative, and positive, right? Positive 5, negative 2, and positive 10. But after you expand it, it becomes now negative 5, positive 2, and negative 10, which are the opposite signs of the original one, okay? So you can simply use that fact that whenever you have a negative sign in front of the brackets, you can simply just expand or get rid of the brackets and change the sign of every single term inside of the brackets, okay? Now, then let's get to the actual thing. Oh, by the way, if you are curious about then what's happening if I have the positive sign, the positive sign is not going to change anything. All you need to do is just keep the positive sign and remove the brackets, and that's all that is, okay? Now let's then get to work on the examples. So we have first example with bracket 5x plus 4y minus 2 close bracket plus open bracket 9x minus 5 plus 10y. So in this case we have positive sign here. So as I said, all you can do or all you need to do is just simply, and there's no sign in front here either, that means it's a positive. So in this case all you need to do is just remove the brackets and copy what's inside again. And then I said a plus, so leave the positive. X minus 5 plus 10y. Now, once you have that, then all you need to do is collecting the like terms. So you have 5x with 9x. So you add the coefficients so that it becomes 14x. And then you have 4y with positive 10y. So that becomes positive 14y. And then lastly, you have negative 2 and negative 5, so that becomes 7. Now, hopefully you noticed that I forgot to do something. That something is that I have to cross it as I add them, okay? Or combine them. So be really careful with it, okay? Now, make sure there is nothing that hasn't been crossed out yet. Okay, if there isn't, then you're done. If there is, then either you've forgotten something or you just need to copy that down in your answer. Okay. Now, then let's take a look at the second example. So it's the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. So we have open bracket 3x squared plus 2x plus 1 close bracket minus open bracket 5x squared minus 4x plus 5. So if you take a look at the first part, we don't have any brackets we don't have any signs in the front. So that means it's positive in the front, we just don't write it. So then all you need to do is you simply copy that again without any brackets. So it is 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now we have negative in front of the brackets. Now remember, if you have just a negative sign, that changes the sign of the terms inside of the brackets. So this basically becomes negative 5x squared because you had a positive 5x squared. Then after that we will have positive 4x and then minus 5. Then you just need to collect the like terms. So I have x squared, so this will be negative 2x squared, since it will be 3 minus 5. Now I dealt with these two terms, so I cross it. Then I have x, and then x. So it is now 2, positive 2 plus 4. So this becomes positive 6x. Cross it out, cross it out. Last one is positive 1, negative 5. So it will be negative 4. And then we cross them out. Now make sure everything is in order, that it's from the highest power to the lowest power. Okay, so 2 is the highest, 1 is the middle, there's no power, so we're okay. So hopefully that was okay. Hopefully that was okay. Now then, let's go to the next. Unfortunately, today's video is slightly longer. I will try my best to finish in about a couple of minutes. Okay, we just need to do a couple more examples and we're done. So in this case, we have 3x plus y minus z, and then plus 2, 3x minus 2y plus z. So you have something in the front. Remember the distributive law, so we have to distribute it. Okay, we have to distribute it. So I'm going to zoom in a little more. So in this case, then, all you need is first distribute it. Okay, if you have something in the front, distribute it. Now, hopefully remember that this distribution means you are multiplying. So this becomes 3x plus 3y minus 3z. Then same thing goes for positive 2 times 3, positive 2 times negative 2, positive 2 times positive 1. Hopefully you noticed that I kept saying positive 2. That's because I have positive 2 right here. If it was negative 2, then remember that you're multiplying negative 2. Okay? So this becomes then positive 6x minus 4y and then plus 2z. After that is just collecting the like terms. So we have 3x with a 6x, and that becomes 9x. So we dealt with that, cross them. And then we have 3y with negative 4y. So positive 3 minus 4 becomes negative 1. So we can simply just put negative y instead of negative 1. Remember, if the coefficient is 1, then we don't have to write it. If the constant is 1, then we have to, though. Okay? And then cross them out. Lastly, we have negative 3z plus 2z. So negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1, so it's just negative z. Now, we have two more, but it's pretty much the same. So, we do the distribution first. That's because we have number in the front of the brackets. Okay? So, if you do the distribution, going this way, then the first one is negative 6x squared. That's because you're multiplying negative 2 by 3. Again, remember, it is coefficient by coefficient. And then we have positive 2x and plus 2. Okay, that's because negative 2 times negative 1x gives me positive 2x. And same thing applies for negative 2 times negative 1. And then we have negative 4. So negative 4 times negative 2x squared, negative 4 times positive 1x, negative 4 times positive 5. So this gives you positive 8x squared. That's because negative 4 times negative 2 gives me positive 8. X squared simply just follows along. Then we have negative 4x minus 20. Once you have this, then you take a look at the collecting the like terms part. So I have negative 6x squared, and I have 8x squared. So negative 6 plus 8, that will be 2x squared. We're done with that, so we cross that. The next one we have positive 2x and negative 4x. So we read it as positive 2x minus 4x. So this becomes then minus 2x. Cross these. Lastly, we have positive 2, negative 20. So then 2 minus 20, negative 18. Okay? So make sure everything is in a right order. In this case, it's fine because power of 2 is the highest, and then the constant is at the lowest. Yay! Now, last example. You guys are hanging on really, really well. So let's finish this really quickly, okay? So same thing over here, okay? Same thing over here. We have negative, so that negative changes the sign of the inside to the opposite. So this becomes negative x minus y minus z minus q. Now remember, the positive doesn't do anything, right? It simply just follows along, and the sign of the inside of the brackets are the same, or stay the same, sorry. So after that, you collect the like terms, so x and x. So negative x plus 1x, so it is negative 1 plus 1, that's 0, so it's 0x. And then I have negative y, positive y, so that gives me 0y as well. I have negative x, positive x, so that gives me 0z, sorry, z. And then the last one is negative q, positive q, so that gives me 0q. Now remember, if it is 0x, that means it's 0 times x. Anything times 0, or 0 times anything, equals 0. So this becomes 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. And obviously that becomes 0. Now obviously you can skip from here to there. It's totally up to you. All I want to say is, if something is multiplied by 0, it will be just the 0. Okay? And then I have this, that, and then that. So I have 4 zeros, add them together, being 0. So that's the end of the lesson. Sorry for a bit longer lesson than usual because we kind of combined the 2 lessons into one. Just the one was just a review. Okay? So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in class.